Green Lantern Corps number 16, written by Peter Tomasi, art by Fernando Pizarrin. This is the next part of the Rise of the Third Army. And last issue, Guy got arrested because he tried to play hero without a ring. This issue picks up in Atlanta, Georgia. There is a bunch of Third Army just absorbing the whole city. And on a TV behind the scenes, we see Guy being brought into prison. And the Guardian's like, oh, hey, that works out pretty well. Every one of the Third Army in Atlanta right now, go find Guy Gardner and take care of him because he's in a nice little safe location off to the side. And we see Guy in prison bars and his bunkmates like, man, do you know how many people here are going to try to kill you? So many, including me. I get first dibs. And he blows smoke in Guy's face, and Guy just punches him, knocks him out in one hit, and guard comes up and is like, what happened to him? And he's like, I don't know. He just fell asleep. Anyway, you have a visitor. So leads Guy down to where his brother and sister are waiting for him in a visitor's room, and Guy basically does the whole like, guys, don't worry about me. I deserve to be in here. I'm a screw up. I'm a creep. I'm a loser. What the hell am I doing here? And as he's complaining, woe is me, his sister just slaps him across the face and is like, hey, cut that out. That's not how gardeners act, you weirdo. And of course, at that exact moment, all the alarms start blaring. There's a security breach. Someone's breaking into the prison, and it turns out it's the Third Army. And Guy, who can't see the screens, is like, are they pale blue and don't have mouths? And they're like, yeah. And it's like, okay, I need to get out of these cuffs right now because those things are going to kill us all. And the guard that's watching him is like, no, you're in prison. And he's like, dude, are you serious right now? I'm a Green Lantern, damn it. So the guard unlocks him and says, hey, all right, get us to an armory. We got to go. Meanwhile, John Stewart and Fatality have tracked down the pieces of Mogo, and it turns out they're being used by space terrorists to hold entire planets hostage by using the willpower inherent to Mogo's body to like power a space laser. And John's like, that's not good. Let's go get Mogo out. And so he goes and shields the planet from the space laser, and then Fatality like strips out their ship's entire engine stuff and breaks out Mogo's pieces. And it's just like, wow, you guys are screwed. And they're like, yeah, we are, as they fall down into the planet. And then John's like, all right, cool. So all these pieces are Mogo. That's great. We can get them back all together. And then for no reason whatsoever, John's like, hey, by the way, Fatality, weren't you in Green Lantern New Guardians? And she's like, I was, but I'm not anymore. All you need to know is Sade, the Guardian, is alive, and Ganthet was stripped of his emotions, and Kyle's real pissed about that. And he's like, oh yeah, Ganthet had emotions. You know, I'm starting to think that the whole reason we were sent out here was as a distraction. And she's like, yeah, we should get back to that. So we see Guy and his brother and sister all lined up with submachine guns, and they're saying like, yeah, we're gonna go down fighting. We're gonna take out these guys because Gardner's motto is gotta live till you die. And as they start breaking in, they start firing off shots like crazy until all of a sudden Simon Baz and Green Lantern Bidig, as seen in Green Lantern number 16, bust into the prison and like, hey, Guy, we're here to rescue you. Something's going on with the Guardians. And Guy's like, really? Not the time? Can we just attack these things as much as possible? And then Guy tells Lantern Bidig, like, okay, I need you to get everyone in this prison over to the Ravens football field, except for my brother and sister, who you are going to take back to their house. And the brother and sister's like, no, you can't take us off the field. And he's like, I ain't losing you. So Bidig sends them all away with his ring. And he turns to Baz and he's like, hey, Chucklehead. He's like, my name is Simon Baz. Yeah, Chucklehead. I need you to use that ring because I don't have one right now. Here's what you got to do. And we see Simon fly out and away as Bidig does his best to contain all the Third Army inside a bubble. And then Baz flies back with a whole bunch of nuclear warheads, or I should say missiles, that he picked up from a nearby naval station. And they phase him through the bubble and blow up the entire Third Army inside. And it's like, all right, cool, that worked. Good job, Zab. And he's like, that's Baz. You kind of suck, Gardner. And Bidig's like, all right, we got to go. And both of them manage to agree on one thing of, yeah, that's a good idea. So they fly their way up to the moon and land next to Tranquility Base. And Guy's like, okay, so who's the newbie? What's going on here? And he's like, long story, it'd be easier if we just show you. And they activate the message that was stored in Simon's ring from Hal and Sinestro that are basically just saying, hey, the Guardians are trying to destroy us. And Guy's like, that makes sense now. I think I get it. So that's where we leave off. I like it. I think it does a good job of setting up the familial aspect of Guy a little bit more, because we have had that across several issues now. But this is the first one that shows them fighting side by side rather than pretty much just Guy stepping up and the rest of them being in the background. So I enjoy that. I think it's a solid way to develop Guy even more as a character. I do think that if you weren't reading Green Lantern, this is kind of just a surprise of who in the hell is this guy and why should I care? They don't really do a great job of introducing Simon and Bidig, but hey, whatever. I guess it assumes that you read the core book when the event's going on, so I'm not that upset about it. Art-wise, very good. Maybe only a few weird panels where I took a second to have to figure out what was going on, but generally fine. But overall, I'm going to give this one a 7.5. Yeah, it's just a solid next piece of the story, and I believe the story as a whole wraps up in the annual issue of Green Lantern Corps, which is coming up later this month, so check that out.